Good afternoon, Big Brother fans. It is me, Mike, aka BB Gossip. And wow, it's Tuesday, February 1st. And I just got some news that I kind of have teased. I haven't revealed it yet. I haven't revealed the actual answer yet. But I have to run some errands to prepare for the apparent, major snowstorm that we're about to get here in the middle of Indiana tomorrow or tonight. I think tomorrow morning is when it starts. And so I really didn't expect I'd be, breaking news at this time. And I have to do some stuff. And I kind of want to get a little bit of mileage out of the news. But at the same time, I know you guys are dying. So I kind of teased it out a little bit. I mean, almost everybody listening to this at this point has already seen it, because you all probably follow me on Twitter, and you usually even hear about this on Twitter, although some of you subscribe to it, so you don't see it on Twitter necessarily right away. But I got news from one of my sources that I believe is valid, that implied that someone had a household. And I am putting my full faith and confidence in that source that they're not steering me wrong. But, there's a certain leap of faith you take here where, you believe the person that's, referring to you or confiding in you, be it whoever they are, that they're right. There was a time years ago at this point now when the source known as, Vegas started DMing me and tweeting to me and messaging me. And I was like, is this person real or not? And, we would have legitimate conversations in Twitter DMs, which I wish I had saved. But those of you that know anything about Twitter, when one person deletes their Twitter, those DMs just disappear into the vapor. And I was not thinking I would want to save them. I just was like, I'm having a conversation with the person. So, anyways, I still believe that Vegas account that I would DM with was legit. They told me things that were never wrong. They told me lots of things that couldn't easily be verified, but the information I ever got was more than just, possible. It some of the things they said was, this is who won. I was like, that's who won. I mean, so, anyways. So today I got this message that implied, who the first head of household is. And I just didn't expect it. I was kind of flabbergasted. The last news that I broke was that there's a circular staircase in the house, or gone. The circular staircase is gone. And while that was definitely true and legit, it's not the kind of news that is going to set the Big Brother world on fire, although it certainly did get some attention. But news about who actually is the very first head of household in the house is some major news for people who will not know until more than 24 hours from now. I mean, we're not going to know, in theory, until tomorrow night at some point. When the feed goes live, we should figure it out. In theory, they'll go live tomorrow night. We're guessing 9 o'clock, maybe that early. We're not sure. The countdown ends at 9 o'clock, so we're guessing. But my point is, this source that got a hold of me today to tell me who the first head of household is supposed to be just kind of threw me. But again, I've interacted with this source in the past. I believe with 99.9999999% that they are legitimate and true. But there's that little tiny bit that will always exist, that teeny tiny fraction that, oh my God, I am laying my reputation out on the line here. I am putting my name out on the line by saying, here's who won head of household. And if it ends up being wrong, well, my name is mud. No one is ever going to let me forget it. I am going to be the, fake news. You can never be wrong when you do this stuff. You always have to be right. So anyways, I am taking them at their word. I do trust them. And so I have already set it out there that I will be revealing who the head of household is in about an hour and 40 minutes from right now, because I timed it so that I would hopefully be back home when I could actually do it more properly than like on my phone or something. That's one of the reasons I did it. I set up a poll. This should be published before then, so some of you are listening to this saying, when is he going to do it? Well, I said 2 hours, and it should be about 7:30 Eastern Time, which is 4:30 Pacific. And that, the reason was just because of when I was going to be back home. There's no other devious thing. I just wanted to be around to do it publicly on my computer, not on my phone. And like I said, I have things I had to get done. And so real life interferes. If I would have been home for the day, if I had not had to run back to work, I would have done it. But I had to run home today for an errand, and now I really need to go back into work because, as I said, we're getting ready to have in theory, some major snow here. And there's anticipation that a lot of us will not be able to go into our workplaces, me being one of them. And so I need to get some stuff done. So, how are you guys doing? Good? All right? You're not going to hear a whole lot more. I will say, those of you that aren't following me on Twitter, so I initially tweeted out that, the head of household is not one of the guys, okay? None of the men are the head of household. And now the problem is that I can't remember everybody's names well, right? I can't remember their names. I don't have my cheat sheet or anything with me, so I'm going to have to tell you who they aren't by what they do. So the next ones I did were John Mellencamp's daughter and the woman who I guess is a pageant queen, right? Pageant actress or whatever. Yeah, her. I can't tell you her name right now. I'll know it within another week or so. But right now I can't tell you her name. I can't think of it. But those were I tweeted those two pictures and said they aren't the head of household, right? Okay, so they aren't. Then I followed that up pretty quickly, actually, with the is it Marina, the figure skater, however you pronounce her name, Mira, maybe. She's not the head of household. So that leaves two people that it could be. And that's where we're at. And again, names. I know that Cynthia, that's the easy one, right? Cynthia, and then Mira, maybe. She's the UFC or the fighter. Yeah, so one of those two is the first head of household. That's where we're at right now. I will not be, by the way. Those of you that tuned into this hoping that I would reveal it on this CarCast, oh no, I'm not. I'm doing it on Twitter like I said I would. But I thought I would record a CarCast too. Because I'm kind of like antsy. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, I know, and I want to tell, but I'm not going to tell. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do this a little bit. I'm going to milk this a little bit, although I hate that part of it. I hate doing this on the other hand because it's like I really am annoying some people because it's like, just tell us. We want to know, and you're so mean. And it's like, I know, but really, you wouldn't have known unless somebody else in the interim, in the next hour and a half, says it, then, I'm going to be the one breaking it. Now, somebody could say one of those two names, and it could be the right one, and they can claim that they revealed it, but I don't know what to say then. It's like, okay, well, sure. But I eliminated it down to two, and they just took a wild stab at one of the two and said that was it, and they may or may not be right. I did see an interview posted by, I think it's Sharon and Us Weekly, that interview with Julie that I have not read yet, but I guess from the interview it sounds like we were able to decipher that it's the first head of household was an endurance competition, which makes sense because that's what it often is. And there was some fighting over who got to shower, and I have seen some speculation online already. Based on that, and based on the fact that I am now saying that it's one of two people, that it's either Cynthia or Mira, I think it's Mira, that it must be Mira because she's the athlete, right? And Cynthia's, I think she's like in her 50s, right? Early 50s. Like she celebrated her 50th birthday or something, and so that's a reason that it has to be the fighter, the athlete. Could be. I'm not intentionally trying to troll people one way or the other. I didn't, if it is the UFC fighter, then it is, and I didn't pick Cynthia because that would seem so wild. And if it is Cynthia, I didn't pick the UFC fighter because that would be the one that you would never guess. You would think that one would win no matter what, kind of a thing. I don't know the order, assuming that it was an endurance competition. I do not know the order that people were eliminated. So my final two that I have not named yet of the one, that doesn't mean that the other person that didn't get head of household was the last person out. That's not what that means. I just literally knew that it was, obviously I knew it was a woman, and so it was just as easy for me to cut out the 5 guys right away. Or 6 guys, just put all their pictures in one blop, and there, that's half of them. There. We eliminated all the guys. That was the reason that we went with women. Plus, to be honest, knowing that it was a woman that was head of household, I knew that it would make a lot of the fan base happy to know that a woman was head of household. So get the men out of the deal right away. I mean, that's exciting. The largest fan base is mostly women. It's more women than men in general. So I thought it would be fun to let everybody know for sure right away that it's not a guy. If I had left one of the 2 women up, the winner, and then put a guy next to it, I don't know how that. I don't know. I thought it was more fun to have it up against 2 women, if that makes sense. So yeah. Anyways, that's where we're at, guys. I don't know. There must be some of you that are listening to this for the first time. Welcome to my CarCast. My name's Mike. I do a CarCast almost every day during Big Brother. And Chatty. Oh my gosh. I shouted out my patrons yesterday or day before, whenever it was, and I missed Chatty. I don't know. Some reason there was some filter on my list of patrons, and she didn't make the cut for some weird reason. Because she's been if not the longest running patron, the second longest running patron. So I'm very sorry. And I said I would apologize to her. Yes, you are still a patron, and I appreciate it. So anybody here who now would like to become a patron of me, I have 17 right now. That's where I'm at. I have 17 lovely people who have been supporting me, some for several years at this point, via Patreon. I've gone up and down. It ebbs and it flows. I had more than that during Big Brother 23, and then over the course of the past few months, some people have dropped out. Totally understandable. I don't expect people to always do it. It's kind of a way for people that want to say thank you and support me. Any amount is fine, and it is just a monthly thing. Once a month, you get charged. So if you have an interest in doing that, if you want to say, hey, Mike, you know what, I appreciate you, by all means, become a patron. But there's no need to. It's not something. I am not at this point. At this point, I do not do any of my Big Brother stuff as a big money making thing. I certainly, I'm not going to say I don't. It isn't appreciated. And I also have said before, one of the reasons I started the Patreon is because I said, look, I'll be taking my wife out to dinner with the money I get from Patreon. That's what I do. I say, look, honey, this is what I do. This is what my fans that know that Big Brother annoys the hell out of you. They're saying, here, have a bottle of wine on us. That's kind of the running joke. And that's no joke, though. I have said to my wife, I said, look, we're going out to dinner on the patrons tonight because they're saying thank you for reporting, and they know that we annoy you. So, all right, enough of that. It's my Patreon account is patreon.com/BBGOSSIP. BB Gossip, my Twitter handle. And I think I've said enough for now. Again, right now it is 3 p.m. Big Brother time. It is 6 p.m. almost Eastern time. I will do another CarCast before tomorrow's show, especially since in an hour and a half I will have announced who the head of household is, and I'll have lots more thoughts to add to that now that I will be able to say, so what do you think about this? What does this mean? And so that'll be coming up shortly, right? We'll do one tomorrow, maybe morning. on my, I may not have a drive into work. We'll have to see what the weather is. If I don't drive into work, I'll just have to do one from my garage. So, yeah. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday night. And to those of you that are really annoyed with me right now for not revealing anything, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. But go do something for 90 minutes and then come back and you won't matter anymore. It's not that bad. You're not going to know. No one's going to know any sooner than you as long as you come back in 90 minutes. I'm not giving a special dispensation. I'm not telling my patrons first. There was something I thought, ooh, I could reveal this just to my patrons first. No, that's not what I'm about. I really appreciate my patrons, but at the same time, I'm not going to try to do a money grab by saying become a patron and I'll tell you who it is. That's not what I'm doing. So, all right, folks. Again, that's it. I'm out of here. Hi, John. Hi to my sister if she's listening. Hi to anyone else who's listening. Appreciate it. Hi to my sources if they're listening. Any of you, I appreciate you. Blew my mind today, that's for sure. All right, we're out of here, guys. Bye-bye.